Hi guys, this is my programming idea, and it's focused on global storytelling through shadow puppetry. So this program is designed for a public library space. It'll be a larger scale program that requires the reservation of our larger community room, which we tend to use for larger programs. There's more space, and this program is definitely going to need that. Additionally, it's a program that is going to be a collaboration between the public library and then the local arts council. A nice thing about being able to have a partnership like this is that the responsibility and the cost of the program will be split between both the library and the arts council. It'll be a 3-month program during the summer as well. So the idea is to have an international story time once a month at the library during the summer, using stories from books from our collection. Each story that is chosen will be from a different region of the world. So for instance, in the month of June, it'll be Elfwind's Saga, which is an Icelandic folklore. And then in July, the story time focus will be on The Dancing Turtle, which is from Brazil. And then in August, it'll be I Am Tama, Lucky Cat from Japan. So each story time story will be chosen in advance by the librarian and the art instructor from the Arts Council to help with planning and constructing. It'll save on time, and it'll just help planning the rest of it because it is kind of a detailed program. So the Arts Council runs month-long arts and performing arts summer camps for teens. So teens who sign up for the summer camps, for this specific summer camp, will work on the props for the shadow story time and performances that will be part of the story time at the end of the month. So the idea is that the students will learn, they'll read the story, and then they will decide which characters and which parts of the story need to be constructed into puppets. And then from there, they'll make them, and then they'll practice performing them. So it's kind of an in-depth thing, but it's also, it could be a really cool program if it worked. So what is shadow puppetry? Shadow puppetry is one of the oldest forms of puppetry in the world, dating back 1,000 years in India and China. However, Indonesia and Turkey are also key areas for the development of shadow puppetry. They think that originally they used animal hide to create puppets. It's kind of a side note. The types of stories told using puppetry varies from from country to country. So I believe it's China tends to focus on legends and folklore, the more of like an opera style, and then there's themes of good and evil and religion, and then there's also more of a humorous approach to the storytelling about everyday life and kind of the trials and tribulations of people and kind of overcoming those. So shadow puppetry reinforces traditional values of Native culture, and that's one of the reasons why it's been used for so long. It's almost kind of like a oral storytelling in that sense. In addition to the story time, we can also have book displays and reading lists that are created prior to the event. These will showcase our collection that are from that specific country. So in June, we can have one that's, a whole book display on folklore, and not just folklore, but picture books, nonfiction, authors, CDs, books on tape, all that kind of stuff that are native, from Iceland or just that general region, kind of Norwegian area of the world. And then on top of that, we can have part-time staff put together reading lists that also has a larger collection of books on it as well. So what does this kind of a program promote. It's different for who we're talking about. So for kids, this connects kids to oral storytelling traditions, as well as exposes them to the library collection, which is specifically world language collection. Hopefully it'll inspire them to want to know more about a certain area or place, or specific story style. Also, it exposes them to world literature, and it also gives them an awareness of other cultures. And then for teens, it's involvement in connecting teens to the community, which can sometimes be kind of difficult. And this is kind of a creative way of connecting them to the community. So it's also a creative learning experience. So they're learning about storytelling and the creation of puppets and the origin of stories. And it's also practicing performing in front of crowds and public speaking. I know a lot of time teens can have I know I was a difficult time with that, so it's kind of a good way of doing it because you're not necessarily face to face with the crowd because you'll be behind a screen, but it's also still talking in front of a crowd. And then for the community, this program promotes community building and partnerships that can lead to more joint events. So being able to partner with the Arts Council allows us to move, and if it goes successfully, it allows us to move forward and do more programs with them, smaller and larger scale. I know the Arts Council does a lot of amazing things with kids and middle grade kids and teens and even adults, and being able to partner with them, like I said in the beginning, allows us to split responsibility and costs, which makes larger scale programs more accessible. We're able to do it. So talking about costs, there's two ways of splitting the cost of this. So the first one is material costs can be built into the summer art class cost, which would be determined by the Arts Council. And then the second one is the cost of materials is split by the library and the Arts Council. The thing that makes this program more doable is that most of the supplies needed for the program are general programming materials that either the library or the Arts Council will already have. So if we need to forego having to buy any art supplies, we can do that. The items that will most likely cost the most will be PVC pipes to make the frame of the stage, and possibly the lights for the performance, if the Arts Council doesn't already have these items. I know they tend to have a lot of quirky, weird things because of all of the things that they do and build and make. So if they don't have it, we'll have to buy those. And if we can't do that, we can always use the puppet theater in the YS department, which is not ideal because it's small, but we could do that. So even though it's a larger scale program, there's always ways of getting around a strict budget. We can definitely make it work for sure. This is a breakdown of the supply list. In the notes, I have more of a breakdown with costs and all that stuff. But let's see. So I have additional tools. So the general cost that the estimated cost that I came out to after looking into how much everything that we'd have to buy cost is $87.51, and then split two ways between the Arts Council and the library is $43.75 per place, which is not terrible. It could be a lot more, and that this is we could also cut out having to buy lights, which will take out a significant chunk of that, which I think the lights were the most, which was $59.96. So like I said, there's always ways of working around the limited budget. We can always scrape together, borrow from people, lights. To promote the program, there's quite a few ways that we can do this. So the program would be promoted in the library's quarterly magazine, as well as through handouts available on the YS desk, tweets sent out through the YS Twitter account, and it will be on our calendar available on our homepage of the library. So additionally, the benefit of having this partnership again is partnering with the Arts Council gives the program a chance to be further promoted through their email updates, online calendar, and summer schedule, and any other way that they promote programs. So the event will definitely reach a wider audience this way. So moving forward, if this is successful, we can use the summer program to see if this is something the community wants, and if it is, and if it goes well, we can segue into a monthly World Storytime series that'll definitely be scaled back. There's the New Jersey Storyteller Network, and there is a local storytelling group that could come and do a World Storytime series session once a month. So instead of having the shadow puppets and all that other stuff, it'll be scaled back significantly, where they'll tell stories using other books from our collection or ones they know about, and they'll still use sound noisemakers, all those kinds of things for sound effects, which the library does have, so we can provide that to them, and also for the performance, the shadow performance. So we can still continue this program going forward, just scaled back. And this also allows us to continue to highlight our collection with book displays and reading lists. And then the other positive thing about the book list is that these can also be used for summer reading suggestions. We create them every year, but those books tend to be checked out, and then there's nothing left, so we can rotate these in. These lists can also be used for other programs like 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. We can give suggestions for that. And these books lists can also be found on BiblioCommons or on our online catalog. We can use these handouts. We can have these handouts on our lists available on the YS desk that can be rotated in among our regular lists, like I mentioned before. So that is my programming idea, to have teens create a large, medium-size puppetry story time. It'll be, like I said, significantly scaled back. They can use cardboard if they need to, but these here are kind of more traditional style puppets. You might want to check out the video. There's some pretty cool, pretty amazing puppets, and we won't do anything like that. Ours will probably look more like this cat and flying dragon here, if anything. So it's just a really great way to kind of connect with the community, introduce new topics and new ideas and new stories, and kind of get it out there and get the community excited, get kids excited, and also showcase our collection. All right, thanks.